Dale Moore is suing his former tenants, Jerry and Brittany Clark, for unpaid rent and for causing damage to his rental home.
Mr. Moore, the Clarks were tenants of yours. For how long?
February 28th of this year would have been 2 years.
And when did they move out?
They moved out April 8th.
What was their rent?
$5.95 a month.
What months do you allege they didn't pay?
February, March, and April of this year.
Did you pay February's rent?
We did.
Do you have proof that you paid?
I didn't bring any proof with me. We actually were in the process of moving and everything just...
How did they pay you? By check or cash?
Both, and they would do it in a drop box at my office.
Okay. Did you pay March's rent?
No, we actually had a verbal agreement that we would do work to the house in exchange for our rent.
Well, tell me about that.
Well, when we moved in, there were a lot of damages to the house.
I don't care about when you moved in. You lived there for 2 years. Now, I don't know what you were supposed to do to the house. Well, what was the agreement that you were going to do?
The agreement was that we were going to repaint the entire house, and we put up all new light fixtures. We fixed leaking plumbing issues.
No. I don't want to know what you did historically. I read your answer. I want to know when you were moving out in the month of March.
The agreement was... Sorry.
You already told me what you say your agreement was. Had you painted the house before?
We painted our own preferential colors.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yes.
Had you painted the house before?
Yes.
Okay. And Mr. Moore let you paint the house before.
Yes.
What colors did you paint your preferential colors?
Well, it was beige, gray, and then our daughter's room was pink.
What room did you paint gray?
Gray was our bedroom, and then the main colors of the house was a beige.
And what rooms did you paint?
Every room except for our grandparents' room.
Whose grandparents?
Our grandparents. They lived with us because they were elderly and couldn't take care of themselves or afford to live out on their own.
How long did they live with you?
They actually moved out with us.
What color was their room?
Theirs stayed the same color it was when we moved in, so white.
So when you moved in, all the rooms were painted white? Just follow where we're going. When we moved in, all the rooms were painted white?
Yes.
And you were repainting the house white?
We were told...
You were repainting...
No, we were repainting it a beige color.
Is that what Mr. Moore selected?
Yes. I texted him and I called him and he said that it was fine. I showed him the pictures of what the beige color in the living room and the kitchen. He said that that was fine to paint it throughout the house. And we got completely done except for little touch-ups in the kitchen.
But you had painted the other parts of the house beige yourself.
Yes.
And you were painting over that.
Yes.
And painting over the pink.
Yes.
And painting over the gray.
Yes.
Okay. Did you pay April's rent?
No, he actually told us that we wouldn't be liable for April. We would only be liable for the 3 days that we were there. Our lights were cut out on April 3rd, and we moved out on April 3rd, and the only thing we were there for...
Why do you think... Let's follow this through. You were a tenant with your daughter, an elderly couple, you and your husband, for 2 years.
Yes.
I have to assume that Mr. Moore, who was not seeking rent for any other months but February, March, and April, that you paid your rent for the entire 2 years.
Yes.
Where were you moving to?
We moved about 5 miles away from the previous house, Dale's house.
With whom?
Well, we moved because my grandmother had passed away and we couldn't bear to stay in the house any longer.
You said they moved with you.
They did, but my grandmother passed away in November, and that's when we had to take out a huge loan to help with final preparations, which Dale was he knew about it.
Not his problem. He's your landlord,
Right,
not your father.
Agree.